This is ESPN, the network for thoroughbred racing. Welcome to Hollywood Park, a place of great beauty and of the best in thoroughbred racing. Here, amidst the $25 million in renovations that adorn the track of lakes and flowers, you'll see America's leading racehorse, the Wicked North. And you'll witness the historic opening of the Hollywood Park Casino, creating an entertainment complex like no other in the nation. Join us next for Hollywood Park's most prestigious race. It's the $750,000 Hollywood Gold Cup, live on ESPN. Thrifty Car Rental, racing across America. There's $750,000 in prize money up today as the new Hollywood Park plays host to its oldest and richest stakes event of the spring-summer meeting. It's the Hollywood Gold Cup. And hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln. Glad you made us part of your holiday weekend wherever you're watching on ESPN as our Thrifty Car Rental Racing Across America series comes to Southern California. We've reached the halfway mark of the thoroughbred racing calendar year. With that in mind, who would be your choice right now for Horse of the Year? We have three pretty good candidates for you. How about the 3-year-old Tabasco Cat, the double classic winner of the Preakness in Belmont? If you like grass racing, well, the best grass horse in America right now, undefeated this year, is Paradise Creek. He swept the early times Triple Turf, beating his old rival Lure twice. And right now, the biggest star in the handicap division, you'll see him live today, the millionaire, the Wicked North. He's led the national poll all 17 weeks. Here he is in his toughest test to date. His last start, the Californian. He comes rushing up on the outside just to catch Kingdom Found and win by a short neck. Now, you know, Hollywood Park has always been known as the racetrack of the stars. Well, they've added even more glitter now with the opening just yesterday of the Hollywood Park Casino. We'll give you the first national tour. Glad you've joined us this afternoon on Gold Cup Day, live from Hollywood Park. Thrifty Car Rental, racing across America, is presented by Thrifty Car Rental, historically known for low rates. By Hollywood Park, where great times are a sure bet. Budweiser, Beechwood Age for a crisp, clear, classic taste. Auto Tote, where the action is. And by the DeBartolo Corporation, leading the way to the 21st century. Welcome back to Inglewood, California, and Hollywood Park, where since 1938 they've conducted the Gold Cup. It was won that first year by Seabiscuit. Such stars of the turf as Roundtable, Citation, Ack-Ack, Native Diver, and Affirmed all had their names on the Gold Cup wall out in front of the grandstand here. And as we look ahead in racing here, let's take a look now at conditions for the 55th renewal. It is Grade 1, the first $750,000. The first place check waiting for the winner is $412,500. They go the classic American racing distance, 1.25 miles for 3 and up. Weather warming up a bit here after hazy conditions this morning. It's mid-70s, light wind, and a fast racetrack. Joining me on our holiday weekend to bring you the race here from Hollywood Park, Dave Johnson and Charles C. Kenny, along with Trevor Denman, who'll be calling the Gold Cup for us. Now it's time to meet the field and an overview of this handicap division as we go behind the grandstand to the beautiful paddock here. Let's join Dave and Charles C.
Well, now that the Triple Crown is over and we can focus our attention on the older division. Charles C., we haven't had a handicap here on ESPN since April at Oaklawn, but is handicap the key word?
Well, Dave, considering the history of this race, when you look back over it, it's really only become a handicap in name only. When you consider that Ack-Ack carried 134 pounds to victory, and Shaladon and Seabiscuit and Affirmed all carried upwards of 130. These horses must be rather amused at the modest weights today.
But, you know, sometimes it's not the amount of the high weight, but rather the spread between the competitors. Now, as you can see, the disparity is not that much between our co-top weights at 122 and our co-light weights at 116, just a 6-pound spread. But let me get this straight. These are the big guys. Tomorrow, the fillies. Are they that good out here? Because Flawlessly and Hollywood Wildcat each carry 124 pounds in the Beverly Hills handicap.
Well, what about Sky Beauty? She just got through carrying 128 pounds to victory back east in the Hempstead. She gave away 10 pounds to the runner-up.
But we can't change the weights, and it's not just a two-horse field, more than just our co-top weights. Here's the field this afternoon. Delmar Dennis, 5-1, and Sal Gonzalez Jr., who just lost his apprentice allowance, is the rider. The Wicked North going for his 5th straight win, with Kent DeSormo riding the 6-5 morning line favorite. And number 3, Slew of Damascus, an early speed specialist with a new jockey, Gary Stevens, at 4-1. Arcangues, hero of the $3 million Breeders' Cup Classic at 133-1, is 2-1 today with Jerry Bailey. And completing the field, Fanmore with Corey Nakatani at 8-1. Now, in case you don't live here in California or you missed it on the digest, where has Arcangues been?
Well, he's been right here ever since the Breeders' Cup Classic. After that race, he was retired, then he was unretired, and then he was moved to the stable of Dick Mandela, who conditioned last year's Horse of the Year, Kodashan. Arcangues then got a long vacation. He returned to the races this May and made his first start, a winning one, on the turf, and that was part of a very carefully laid plan by Dick Mandela.
I'm following a successful pattern. He prepped on the turf in Europe all last year and came here and ran his first time in the Breeders' Cup Classic and won. So in my mind, that proves that he doesn't have to practice on the same ground every time. He's a horse with known arthritic problems, kind of an old back problem and that. And I thought that bringing him back on the grass a time or two would be an easier way to bring him back to the races this year. He trains as good as a horse can train the last month, and I think he's up to his best. I think that the dirt could be his best surface, and I think his style of running, he'll get a good enough pace in a dirt race as opposed to a turf race, and that could make the difference.
Well, he's the biggest question mark in this field for me. If he wins, will it be because of first-time LASIK switches today, or because his back wasn't bothering him, or because he bounced last time? But if he does win, Charles, a big part of the victory will be that he's been reunited with jockey Jerry Bailey, who rode him in the Breeders' Cup Classic. He hasn't seen him since last year's Winner's Circle ceremony, so we asked Jerry if he remembered that day and that trip.
Well, a horse that you've never ridden before, I think it's embedded in your mind exactly what you did, especially in a $3 million race. I remember distinctly how I warmed the horse up, exactly how I broke, and exactly where I was and how he was running at every pole in the race. So at least I have that to reflect back on. Whether he's going to do the same thing or not, I don't know, but I can remember at least what I did.
Well, Jerry is very effective flying from east to west. 2 years ago, he hopped a plane out here for the Hollywood Gold Cup and upset the whole thing with sultry songs. So don't take his presence here too lightly. Chris?
All right, Dave, Charles, looking forward to a great race in the Gold Cup this afternoon. Tell you, this is not only great thoroughbred racing here, but a great entertainment complex. That's what they're talking about here at Hollywood Park, thanks to the opening of the Hollywood Park Casino yesterday. You're going to get your first look when we come back. Racing fans of all ages coming out to Hollywood Park here. Some pony rides at the track here. And you see the track getting ready for our field when they arrive at the paddock to be saddled here for the Hollywood Gold Cup. Well, yesterday, a historic day at Hollywood Park, the opening of the new Hollywood Park Casino. And for Chairman R.D. Hubbard, it had been a day he had been waiting for a long time.
I tell you, this has been probably the most exciting day I've had in a long time. We've been working on this project for a year and a half, and today is the day that it finally comes to the opening, and in about an hour and a half, the doors will open up, and we hope to fill this place.
And fill it they did. They came by the thousands to play at a facility that Mr. Hubbard believes was created out of necessity.
We've seen other forms of gaming coming on the Indian reservations and then expanding to the river boats. And if racing does not get a piece of the action, it's not going to survive. And since card clubs were legal in California, we felt that it was an opportunity for Hollywood Park to participate in other forms of legal gaming. And that's what started the idea. And being able to open it today, I think it sets the standard for what's going to happen in other parts of the country, whether it's in Arkansas or Kentucky or any of the other states. I think this is where a lot of the industry's headed, and we're glad to be one of the leaders.
The Hollywood Park Casino measures 315,000 square feet and employs over 2,000 people. While poker and California casino games are the main menu, patrons can easily make a bet on the horses.
Well, I think that you'll see that they'll be betting more on Hollywood Park races right here in this casino than an awful lot of the satellite facilities all over the state of California. This will become one of the bigger satellite facilities, not only for Hollywood Park races, but for Santa Anita, Del Mar, Los Alamitos. So it'll be positive for all of horse racing.
And that certainly has been the impact after the first day of a casino and a racetrack in the same location. In fact, last night, Friday night racing here at Hollywood Park, the best they have ever had. The card players did look up, went to the monitors, and went to the windows, we're happy to say. Well, that's a look at racing's future, the Hollywood Park Casino. Now for a look back at some of the past history of this Gold Cup, let's join Charles C.
Well, in the 1960s, Native Diver became a household name here at Hollywood Park with a record 10 stakes victories. Included were 3 consecutive victories in the Hollywood Gold Cup, plus the honor of becoming the first California-bred millionaire. When Native Diver went after his 3rd straight Gold Cup in 1967 at age 8, he faced a talented youngster named Pretense. Harry Henson called the record-setting win.
Lost the rider. Native Diver is going to the front. Pretense is second. Biggs third on the inside. And Quicken 3.
As usual, Native Diver was in front. But now, jockey Jerry Lambert also had to deal with the loose horse.
Native Diver in front. Pretense and Biggs. Native Diver drawing out again. Native Diver, Pretense, and Biggs. And Native Diver is the winner by 4 lengths.
The Hollywood Park Winner's Circle was a familiar place for the popular Black Gelding, who was owned by Mr. and Mrs. L.K. Shapiro and trained by Buster Millerick. Regular jockey Jerry Lambert recalls Native Diver's special talent.
As fast as he'd run, you'd think he's going to have to stop, you know, any time. But I don't know where it come from, but he'd just keep digging, and I had horse left. His will to win, I think, was just incredible.
Native Diver's Gold Cup exploits are now chronicled in this 20-foot monument in the Hollywood Park paddock.
You're taking a look at the 5-horse in the Gold Cup, Fanmore, Bobby Frankel's entry today. By the way, Jerry Lambert, the jockey of Native Diver, back riding now at 53 years old at Los Alamitos. Well, the Independence Day holiday weekend, nice weather and a great race brings out a bunch of fans here at Hollywood Park for today's 55th Gold Cup. There's another cup that people have a lot of attention being paid to these days. That's the World Cup of Soccer. The second round is underway. And here on ESPN, we'll pick up the action Sunday, 4:25, Romania against Argentina. I have a trivia question for you now. Of the 5 horses that are in today's Gold Cup field, 2 of them raced on Breeders' Cup Day last fall. Can you name them? All right, Arcangues, you know he won the $3 million Breeders' Cup Classic. But did you know the Wicked North ran on Breeders' Cup Day? Not in a Breeders' Cup race, that's true, but in a supporting stake. He was second in the Smile Stakes there. No supporting actor anymore. He is the star. Let's take a look at our odds, and you'll see what they think of him here. Auto Tote odds show the Wicked North a solid 1-2 here. Del Mar Dennis, the big price. Slew of Damascus at 6. Arcangues at 3. Fanmore at 9. But the Wicked North is the star, and let's show you why. Although disqualified in the $1 million Santa Anita Handicap, his first place finish in that race following a Grade 2 win in the San Antonio put the Wicked North among the leaders of the handicap division this year. But then he put together back-to-back Grade 1 wins in the Oaklawn Handicap at Hot Springs, Arkansas, and the Californian here at Hollywood Park in his last start to move him to the top of the National Thoroughbred Racing poll. As his trainer, David Bernstein, knows, the Wicked North has earned that #1 ranking.
Yes, he really has. He's run hard all year, and he's held his form extremely well. And winning the races from coast to coast kind of makes him seem like maybe the best horse right now. Let's hope he continues.
Purchased by Bernstein for Philip and Sophie Hirsch. The $10,000 Keeneland Sales yearling, now a millionaire, has overcome a lot on his way to the top.
Yes, he was a very late foal, and he was born almost in June, and he was very large, and we had to take our time with him, and then he shin bucked severely in his first start late in his 2-year-old year. And as you know, he cracked his cannon bone in his 3-year-old year, so he's had some major layoffs.
Even as a 5-year-old, the Wicked North appears nervous before his races, a condition known as washing out, usually a bad sign for trainers.
Yes, he's been that way since he first started running, even as a maiden. I was told that most far norths do tend to wash a little bit. He gets extremely wet. Nancy, as his blood gets boiling, you might say, does not seem to affect his performance. He'll even get wet and washy when he gallops or works, when he gets to feeling really good. It's just part of him.
But as the Gold Cup approaches, the Wicked North seemed a picture of confidence. Bernstein knows what makes this thoroughbred so special.
Obviously, his class and his ability to maintain top performances month after month. We've been running since January. Here it is July, and he still seems to be in peak form. His work the other day was very, very good. I'm looking for a good effort from him.
Boy, he has always given a good effort, has the Wicked North, and right now the fans sure like him at 1-2 here at Hollywood Park. And what a story, the Wicked North. You mentioned a $10,000 Keeneland Sale yearling, and now has earned over $1 million. You're looking at Delmar Dennis in the colors of John Toffin and Trudy McCaffrey. Boy, they've been a successful couple in racing here in Southern California. Trained by Paco Gonzalez, be ridden by his nephew today, Sal Gonzalez, and right now the biggest price on the board. The paddock is setting there. All the horses have arrived. The 5, again, not big numbers, but certainly great quality in this field. Along with the millionaire Wicked North, we have Arcangues, who's earned almost $2 million. While the track is set, listed as fast, we come back. We'll be introducing the field to you. The post parade is coming up for the 55th Hollywood Gold Cup. Live at Hollywood Park, our thoroughbreds are on the track. The 5 that contest the 55th Hollywood Gold Cup. Let's meet the field. Delmar Dennis ran 5th last start in the Californian. Broke a 3-race win streak. It included a pair of Grade 2 along the way. He was a $50,000 Keeneland Sale purchase. The rider Sal Gonzalez just lost the bug, his apprentice status, on May 2nd. The 2-horse and the race favorite here, the $10,000 Keeneland Sale bargain, the millionaire, the Wicked North, America's top-ranked thoroughbred you're looking at there. He has been first in 4 consecutive races, including 3 Grade 1s. The rider, Kent DeSomo, he's already won 4 stakes at the Hollywood meeting. The 3-horse and the speed horse in this race is Slew of Damascus. Invader from Northern California had a 5-race win streak. All stakes snapped earlier, as he was 3rd, beaten just 2 lengths in the California. A new rider today, there he is, Gary Stevens. He's 5th nationally among all riders across the country. The 4-horse, the hero of the Breeders' Cup, this is Arcangues. Won last year's Breeders' Cup at 133-1 in his U.S. and dirt track debut. This year won the John Henry on the turf, back on the dirt now after disappointing 5th in the Turf Cup. The rider reunited with him, Jerry Bailey, one of the best in America. Rounding out our field, the 5-horse from Bobby Franco's stable, the Judmont Farms. This is Fanmore. A $62,000 Keeneland yearling has earned over $404,000, making his dirt track debut today. He's finished 1st or 2nd in 11 of 12 turf starts, including group wins in England and France. Corey Nakatani, the rider. That's the field for the 55th Hollywood Gold Cup. Let's go now to Chelsea Cannon.
Well, Delmar Dennis is owned by the partnership of Trudy McCaffrey and John Toffin, one of the most successful combinations in ownership in thoroughbred racing this year. They rank around 3rd nationally, and Delmar Dennis has earned about $300,000 of their yearly earnings. BNBN is really the stable leader, but John, you will be looking to make amends with Delmar Dennis after his disappointing race in the Californian. What happened?
Well, I think our horse probably likes to run a little closer to the pace than happened last time. We got too far back, and I don't think you can do that against this class of horses. He made a good move on the far turn and then got carried wide, and that was it.
Well, you've got #1 Post today, and he'll probably be showing a bit more speed. And Trudy, he showed speed when he won the Mervyn Leroy. In fact, he pretty much made all the running all the way.
Yes, he did, and I think that's, as John said, that's what happened the last time, Charlesy. We took him back a little too far, and he relaxed. He's a very easy horse to ride, and he does pretty well everything you tell him. And I think by the time they decided to go, it was a little late, and the horse just was too far back. I think today we hope to stay a little close to the pace, and John and I just feel very honored to be in the race, so I just hope we all have a good one and everybody come back safely.
Tofan and McCaffrey, always a factor at any race they run in. Good luck to you both, and we'll go over to Dave Johnson right now.
Thanks, Charles.
Slew of Damascus was a Tennessee bred who originally sold for $4,500, was claimer of the year last year, running for a tag at one point of $32,000, and his trainer, Craig Roberts, is here. Hey, now for $750,000, that's quite a jump.
Big jump, yep, but we've been letting him earn it as he went along, so we wouldn't be here if we didn't think we were going to be competitive. So.
You saddled him in the tunnel away from the crowd here. Why?
Has a tendency to get a little bit anxious. He kicked me one time here the last time, and that was the day he won the All-American here. But it's just better for him, and David's horse is the same way. Just a little bit feisty, so we just...
Do you have to go to the front to win?
Not necessarily. His style has been to open up, get a breather, and go on. I don't think they're going to let me have a breather today.
You had a bar shoe on in the Californian today?
Today, no bar shoe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Had a new jockey, Gary Stevens, who's a heck of a rider on the front end. Thanks very much. Craig Roberts, the trainer of Slew of Damascus. Chris?
Boy, done a great job with that Tennessee bred as well. You take a look at Slew of Damascus. Look at those colors. You'll likely see him on the front end. He is the speed in the Hollywood Gold Cup. We'll be right back with our Budweiser long shot. 50 car rental racing across America welcomes you back to Southern California, where today's 55th running of the Grade 1 Hollywood Gold Cup is being presented by Hollywood Park, where good times are a sure bet. And a sure bet to give us a good analysis of this race before it is run, the man who'll be calling it for us. Let's join track announcer Trevor Denman.
Two things I've always noticed about short fields. One, they invariably produce a good finish, and two, the pace is ultra crucial. Who's going to set that pace today? Slew of Damascus, a big, strong, muscular colt, and if he can get an easy lead out there and flex those muscles at the top of the lane, he's going to take some catching. However, there's no doubt that the Wicked North is the best mile-and-a-quarter dirt horse in America today, so he's the one they all have to beat. Arcangues, well, a $3 million Breeders' Cup Classic winner, he probably could be rated one of the top horses in America too right now, but he's very headstrong. When he's in the mood, he's very good, but if he decides today's not his day, he'll probably be an also-ran. Fanmore, brilliant on the turf, has to transfer that onto the main track today, and experience tells us that that doesn't happen very often. And then we have Delmar Dennis. Perhaps we could best correlate him to the United States soccer team. Not as good as the others, and really not expected to do that well. But then the USA did beat Colombia, and who knows, Delmar Dennis could be the upset special this afternoon.
Thank you, Trevor. Look forward to your call, and let's give you an update now on the odds here at Hollywood Park for the Gold Cup. These are current odds. I auto-tote. Delmar Dennis at 10. The Wicked North open at 6-5. Now bet down to 3-5. Slew of Damascus 7. Arcangues remains at 2 as the second choice. Fanmore at 9. Never easy to find a Bud long shot with a short field. We're going to try to find one for you, though, today in the Gold Cup.
Today's Budweiser long shot is number 5, Fanmore, a turf runner that his trainer Bobby Frankel thinks will do very well in his first effort on the dirt. Why does Bobby think he'll fit?
The biggest reason he fits in the Gold Cup because it's $750,000. That's number 1. Number 2, there's only 5 horses, so I got to pick up some part of the purse. Number 3, I think he's a pretty good horse, and he always tries hard, and I think he's got a very good style for the race.
Is a steady type of runner whose style, seen here in the San Luis Obispo, leads us to believe he can transfer his speed to the dirt. He's had 2 victories in 4 starts this year, both wire-to-wire, and lifetime he's been out of the money only once in 12 starts. Wouldn't be the first time that Frankel took a good turf horse and made him better on the dirt. Don't forget, Turcoman, Missionary Ridge, and back in 1991, he won the Hollywood Gold Cup with Marquetry. It's tough to pick a horse to pay double digits in a 5-horse field, but we're going with Fanmore, today's Budweiser long shot.
Open at 8-1. The Budweiser long shot is the biggest price on the board in the 5-horse field, now at 9-1. Chauncey just joining us from the paddock area. And Chauncey, how'd the 5 thoroughbreds, veterans pretty much, behave there?
all very well, actually, and that's critical to this race because the Wicked North has that tendency to get a little bit disturbed and lose some of his edge in the paddock before the race. He was not washy at all. In fact, the only horse in the paddock who seemed to be a little bit worked up at all was Slew of Damascus. Everybody else was good.
Everybody says for the small field, Charles C., look for a jockey's race, a rider's race.
Well, we've got an awful lot of pace situation here, and the race will be told around the first turn.
Trevor Denman is going to be calling it for us. Dave Johnson, a thought?
I think if you have to pick against the Wicked North, you go with Slew of Damascus. Gary Stevens will have this horse out here, and how many times have we seen him take a horse wire to wire? Chris?
Trevor Denman's going to call it.
Just 2 runners left to load now. Arcangues coming up, one from the outside, and Fanmore to come to the outside gate, and they'll all be set for this afternoon's Hollywood Gold Cup. Fanmore goes in nice and quietly. All set. Deal for the Hollywood Gold Cup sent on their way. They came off to a beautiful beginning. Slew of Damascus in the yellow blinkers going straight to the lead. The Wicked North on the inside, and Fanmore showing good speed. Fanmore gets up second. Delmar Dennis not showing speed today. Drops back into fourth. He's 5 lengths off them, and Arcangues is taken back to last. That's probably where he likes to run from. They run to the mile pole, and as expected, Slew of Damascus and Gary Stevens out here dictating the pace. They're going a decent pace. They're not flying, but they're not crawling either. Very sensible pace. Slew of Damascus by a length and a half. Fanmore is in second. The Wicked North is now taken to the outside of horses in third. He's 4 lengths off that leader. Another 2 back to Delmar Dennis, and Arcangues is the trailer. He's 7 lengths off the lead. Onto the backstretch they go, and Slew of Damascus trying to slow them down, but Fanmore's going to have none of that. He comes to keep the pressure on him, and the Wicked North on the outside. 3 of them now with only a length separating them as they run to the 5/8. There's a gap of 3.5 back to Delmar Dennis, and Arcangues is last, but he's only 5 lengths off these leaders. They run to the half-mile pole in the Hollywood Gold Cup, and it's still Slew of Damascus leading them just under a length to Fanmore. Kent DeSormo takes a peep to his left on the Wicked North. He's happy with his position. Outside of horses, just a length and a half off the lead. Arcangues is tugging his way along down at the rail, and Delmar Dennis is at the back, but 4 lengths would cover this whole field. They bunch up with 3/8 to go. Slew of Damascus, Fanmore. The Wicked North is now having to be asked to run on the outside. Arcangues at the rail, and Delmar Dennis, the 5 runners are bunched together with a 1/4 mile to go. At the top of the lane, Slew of Damascus, Fanmore. The Wicked North is suddenly in deep water, and he can find no more, and the Wicked North not firing. Delmar Dennis, and Arcangues hasn't come on either. Past the 8th pole, and Fanmore in the pink cap looking to cause a major upset. Slew of Damascus digs deep and finds more at the rail. Delmar Dennis third. Slew of Damascus is all hard through the lane. Gary Stevens just riding him with his hands, and Slew of Damascus has won the Hollywood Gold Cup from Fanmore. Delmar Dennis 7 back to a disappointing to Wicked North, and Arcangues never fired. He ran last. Well, there it is. Slew of Damascus got that lead that he was hoping to get today. No one took him on early, and that's exactly what Slew of Damascus wanted. And like we said, if he gets an easy lead like that at the top of the lane, he's a big, strong, muscular 5-year-old, and you know you have to run your heart out to get by him, and they couldn't today. Big run from the long shot Fanmore in second. Delmar Dennis coming on third. What happened to the Wicked North and Arcangues? Well, all we can say about the Wicked North, horses are not machines, and today just was not his day. And Arcangues obviously is a horse who's in and out. One day he's superb, and the next day he doesn't run at all. A good time in the board too, 2 minutes and 3/5 of a second.
Well, that tells the story, Trevor. Quite a bit off the stakes and track record of 158 and 2, and the big 2 Chelsea were the last 2, the Wicked North and Arcangues, finishing 4th and 5th in this race, and it was wire to wire. Let's take a look as Slew of Damascus leads the way.
All the running, but look at the Wicked North on the extreme left of your screen. He was wide every foot of the way, around the turn, down the backside, and the turn for home. Arcangues appeared to be rank early on. All that good work that Mandela had done with him, he had his head in the air, and he didn't want it. When he had a chance, he came up empty. But it was Slew of Damascus who was game, as he always is in his races.
And the master Bobby Frankel trained Fanmore in his first dirt appearance, this European star who's been so impressive on the turf. Ran a very strong second today in the Hollywood Gold Cup for Bobby Frankel, the Eclipse Award-winning trainer. There's the winner, Slew of Damascus. The 1994 Hollywood Gold Cup is being presented by Hollywood Park, where great times are a sure bet. Our unofficial winner, Slew of Damascus, the Tennessee bred, with his biggest victory here in the Grade 1 Gold Cup. But Chelsea, as you see Slew of Damascus and his rider Gary Stevens in the winner's circle, you're with the jockey. Everybody's wondering what happened to the Wicked North with Kent DeSormo.
Kent DeSormo, you were 3-2 and the favored top weight in the race. First time you two have ever been beaten together. What happened?
Well, I tell you, it just goes to show that they're not machines. He's gave us a little inclination and works throughout the week, and actually the last 2 weeks he's only worked two times since his last race, and he was tired in his works, and with a race like this coming up, you can't miss these, and I would have done the same thing. I think we all wanted to be here, but the tank was empty, and that's pretty much all there is to it. The horse felt fine. He's traveling very, very well. He just doesn't want to go. He just can't find it in his heart to pick his feet up and go today. It's just a bad hair day.
He made a good pass at him around the turn, but when they turned for home, it was all over, and Kent, you couldn't ride him any faster than he could ride.
No, that's about right. We aimed and shot, but there was no bullets.
Slew of Damascus gets the job done. We'll go back to Chris.
David Bernstein is worried about the Wicked North. Only 3.5 weeks between his races. He likes more, and that might have cost him. There is the winner's circle shot. Unofficially, Slew of Damascus the winner. Fanmore second, Delmar Dennis third, and Dave Johnson, take us through it.
There were 3 moments that added up to victory this afternoon. 2 of them didn't even take place today. One was the assignment of 117 pounds for the horse on the front end there with the gold blinkers. That's Slew of Damascus, your eventual winner. The second moment was the naming of Gary Stevens to ride. And the third was that little breather that Gary gave this horse on the backstretch as he let the other ones come to him, saving ground and let everybody go on the outside, and then brought this horse home a winner. The 6-year-old had been training up a storm with some bullet workouts. That translated into a big race this afternoon. Craig Roberts, who we talked to earlier, had him in great shape. A beautiful ride by Gary Stevens, and 5 pounds less than the 2 top weights. That adds up to a victory by 3 parts of a length. Chris?
Well, there's in Tennessee, as is Craig Roberts, the trainer of Slew of Damascus. Raced in Northern California, the Tennessee bred by Slew's side. It just won his biggest race ever. What a beautiful sight, this track of lakes and flowers, and only one thing can make it prettier. That is if you were in the winner's circle with Slew of Damascus and a first-place check of $412,500. And look at this payoff for those who backed him today. $18, $820 and $1040. Fanmore, the Bud Long shot, running second, $840 and $10. And Delmar Dennis finishing it off, that 3-5 exacta, $129.40. Some big numbers in a short field. Dave?
Gary Stevens, you've been waiting to ride this horse for a while?
Yeah, I have been waiting to ride him for a while. It's been about 1.5 years. I've been looking forward to riding him, just haven't got the opportunity, and today was the first trip on him. He just reminded me of a horse that gets out in front, got a lot of determination, only going to go as fast as what the competition makes him, but he's got a will not to let other horses by him, and that's what he did today.
Let's watch the start of the race, and you're where in the starting gate?
Yeah, I'm in the number 3 hole. He broke very clean, came away, got right in the stride, and just very, very relaxed. The entire trip, he's just doing enough to stay in front of Fanmore on the outside with Corey Nakatani. Just very, very relaxed. Got a nice breather up down the backside.
But this was your plan, to get to the front early?
Yeah, definitely. I wanted him to know what my plans were right away from the gate. I don't think that Corey was real sure what he was going to do with Fanmore. I wanted to establish what I was going to do early. So if anybody did want to commit suicide, they knew they were going to do it from the first jump.
And we're not watching the finish, at least we don't have it on our monitor, but through the stretch, you knew you had it won.
I felt very comfortable coming into the stretch. At the 5/16 pole, I was getting pressure from Fanmore, and then Delmar Dennis got into the picture the last 1/8 of a mile. But like I said, this horse just gave me the impression the whole trip around there that he was going to do just enough to stay in front and not let another horse by him.
Good ride. Excellent ride. Gary Stevens, wire to wire on Slew of Damascus. Thanks. Chris?
What a performance by Slew of Damascus. Again, the Tennessee bred by Fulmer Farm was purchased as a juvenile by agent Gary Jackson for $4,500 at an Arkansas breeder's sale. And now he is almost a millionaire. Chelsea?
And he's been trained by Craig Robertson, who's pulled this great upset here today. And Craig, this is a very, very hard-hitting gelding. He's won. He set track records on the turf and on the dirt. But you had a little problem with him for a while. He had a bad foot.
Well, he jumped on himself the day of the race at Santa Anita and wasn't able to complete that race because he ran off. And in doing so, he kind of grabbed himself. And so it wasn't just a great long interruption, but it was long enough that, and maybe that was a blessing in disguise as well, looking back on it today. But no, nothing serious. Actually, that's one of the pluses, and he hasn't had hardly any interruptions. That was about the only one. And the bar shoe was just because of what happened there, and he had to run here with it last time. And Corey told me he noticed it the last time because he had ridden him without it before.
What about your next start?
Next start, I think will be Del Mar in the Classic, probably.
Be warned. Watch for Slew of Damascus speed at Del Mar. Chris?
We'll look forward to that, and we'll be there to bring you that Pacific Classic later this summer. Owned by Victor Nacarado and his cousins, Idris Harveston and George Losham, Yakima, Washington. They're celebrating the victory of Slew of Damascus. The 55th Hollywood Gold Cup is now history. Let's give you the official order of finish for this 55th running. Slew of Damascus, the wire-to-wire winner here this afternoon. Fanmore, our Budweiser long shot for the place spot. Del Mar Dennis for the show. Then the real surprise, the two favorites in the race finish 4th and 5th. The Wicked North and Arcangues. The Wicked North, first time he's been off the board in the dirt. Well, I can't even find it, Dave, in the past performances.
Well, Chris, the thing that I zero in on here is that the speed of the race is determined by the speed of the leader. And when you have a horse like Slew of Damascus, who's able to glide to the front, have a jockey as bright as Gary Stevens, who's able to give him a little bit of a breather down the backstretch, a half in 47, 3/4 in 110 and 2, and then have the kick to hold off the others who are carrying more, 5 pounds more than you, well, that's a real nice victory. It adds up to a big score for Slew of Damascus. Chris?
And Trevor Demon, you called it for us. Let's get your look back at the race.
Well, probably a lot of it was right here, Chris. Watch the inside horse. That's Del Mar Dennis. Now, all week long, his connections have been saying he was too far back last time. They're going to jump him out today and put pressure on the leaders. He gets a perfect break here. You see the rider look across, and what does he do? Takes a hold here and drops back. Now, we can't put all the blame on the rider, Sal Gonzalez. He's probably right into instructions. But all week long, they've been saying they were too far back last time, which was 4 lengths behind the leader. They're going to be close to the lead today. What do? They take back and 4 lengths off Slew of Damascus, and that probably just handed it to Slew of Damascus right there. Not that the Wicked North could win anyway. Let's take it down now to Chris Lincoln.
Chelsea's final thoughts on the Gold Cup of '94.
Well, all this talk about handicaps, we must say that the handicapper had it pegged right. The 2 top weights finished last, and next to last, it was the lightweights who finished 1, 2, 3, and that's the purpose of a handicap, to give them all a chance.
And Slew of Damascus, the one who made the most out of it today, winning the first place check of better than $412,000 in the Gold Cup. Glad you joined us this afternoon for our coverage of the Hollywood Gold Cup on ESPN, brought to you by Thrifty Car Rental, historically known for low rates. By Keeneland, source of the classic horse. Budweiser, official beer of the World Cup, reminds you friends know when to say when. And by the DeBartolo Corporation, leading the way to the 21st century. Ground transportation provided by Thrifty Car Rental. For reservations at over 850 locations worldwide, call Thrifty at 1-800-4CARS. This has been an ESPN Sports presentation in association with Winter Communications.